The US military has said an India-bound vessel has been hit by a drone. The US also says that the attack in the southern Red Sea has taken place in the southern Red Sea and there have been no injuries as of yet. The attack was by Houthi militants from Yemen is what the US says. 15 attacks on shipping by militants since October, according to the statement. Now, the attack took place at around 10:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. 25 Indian crew members were on board and they are safe is what we're learning at this point. Now, the Red Sea, remember, is one of the most significant shipping routes in the world. It's seeing tensions rise as spillover of the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. The major shipping firms said that they would avoid the Red Sea after attacks by Yemen's Houthi group on vessels which disrupted global trade as well. Now, the hostilities have put a chokehold on ships passing through the Suez Canal, which handles about 12% of worldwide trade. Now, I had earlier analyzed the impact on global trade just as these attacks have taken place. Take a look. Now we take you all the way to the Red Sea. Missile attacks by Houthi militants in the Red Sea has caused major disruptions and has already started impacting global trade. In November and December of 2023, there have been at least 11 incidents involving Houthi militants in the Red Sea. These attacks have made the route highly risky. Now, several major international shipping companies have suspended their operations in the Red Sea. Ships are being diverted to longer alternate routes, increasing the journey time by 2 weeks. This in turn will result in shipping companies having to bear the brunt of higher operational costs, fuel expenditure and a delay in shipments. For consumers as well, this means they may have to wait longer for shipments and may have to pay more as well. The Bharat Petroleum has decided to halt its shipments through the Red Sea as more oil companies are also likely to follow in the same footsteps. Fuel prices can be expected to soar. Because of the hindrance in connectivity, Europe-bound grains and energy supplies will also likely see a rise in prices. Not just this, insurance premiums for risky routes since the maritime incidents in the Red Sea have increased. Shipping companies have not been able to dabble between choosing a longer alternate route or paying higher insurance premiums for sending shipments through the Red Sea, which their shipments could then be retrieved, but both options could pose expensive. Now, these disruptions along the Red Sea route could pose a problem closer to home in India as well. India will have to opt for longer, less affordable trade sea routes, which could impact exports. India majorly uses this route to export petroleum products, which could take a hit, along with exports of textiles and pharmaceutical products. Now, India's imports of crude oil, electronics and coal could also be impacted. Now, the Red Sea plays a significant role in global trade dynamics. These recent events could pose interruptions in trade flows across the world and have a far-reaching economic impact.
Upwards of 10 to 15% of global shipping transits sea straits, and these attacks are impacting global trade and commerce, negatively impacting the economies of nations around the world and costing commercial shipping firms billions of dollars.
I'm being joined by foreign policy expert Zakir Hussain. Sir, thank you for joining us this morning. We're talking, of course, about the attacks that have taken place in the Red Sea, especially now that we're learning that an India-bound vessel has in fact been hit by a drone. The attack, of course, took place in the southern Red Sea. No injuries have been reported yet. But take us through the impact of this on a global scale, especially in the backdrop of the Israel-Hamas war.
This is a very unfortunate event, and this is an event of escalation of war that will affect the economy, the world through economic and energy point of view, as well as security. The Bab al-Mandab is a choke point which plays a key role in the transit of these things. But looking our stakes in the region it is not good for us, because our stake in the region is very high. If this war escalates, it may create a lot of problem for us. To my end, already we have deployed 2 destroyers there, but side by side we should adopt the negotiation platform also, because we cannot join totally blindly with United States, which has formed a group of 20 countries. Recently, the visit of Omani Sultan was there, and the issue of maritime cooperation was discussed, and we have berthing right in Dokam. In 2018 during the visit of Prime Minister Modi, we signed an agreement, and our Navy will get it there. So what I think that looking our stake in the region, not only for the transit but also for the labor, trade, energy, fertilizer, all these things are very important and growing to cooperate with the growing relation So I feel that the two-way track should be followed. Number one, cooperating with the U.S. Formed group, Prosperity Group, and the other side, we should also follow negotiation with the Houthis and Omanis, that India, why they are targeting India. India is a forever friend of the region, and it has played a very key role during COVID by supplying medicines, food grains, and all these things. So our relation with the region is quite different, and we should not go blindly and totally as a war. The war is going on there. So my take is that we should take a track to dialogue also with the Houthis and the Omani government, that we should not be trapped in that security trap of US and others.
Right, Mr. Hussain, now there's also a larger context here. Talking about the attacks on the Red Sea, it has really strained global trade, especially India as well, because India is really reliant on that route when it comes to exports as well as imports. Now, several shipping companies, including oil companies, have stopped using that route. Now, if this continues for a longer term, that this will affect a larger part of the economy, sir, and several of these nations.
Yeah, as per estimate, our $200 billion trade passes through that, and energy is also coming from there. That choke point, Bab al Mandab, it is a very narrow strip, and certainly it will affect our economy and our trade targets. We have picked that $2 trillion trade. We will export $2 trillion export by 2030, and all these are maybe passing through Bab al Mandab by reaching the European market. Then what your report covered, that it will increase not only time but cost, but petroleum, but insurance, but freight charges. So entire world and this region is very this conflict may not confine to Red Sea, but it may also bring the return of the age of piracy also. That is apprehension, because world has already faced the circumstances of piracy in the region when the navies of 20 countries were present there, but they were not able to handle. This time the enemy is a different kind of enemy, and it is getting backing from Russia and others, and they have advanced weapons and missiles, and their intentions are also totally different from earlier one. So the situation is not unlike past. So we need a very deft diplomacy as well as deterrence capabilities to stop this Houthis from doing all these things. And Houthis are successfully linked their action with Israel-Gaza war, and we have to understand this dynamics also. Houthis have also claimed that many ships are carrying weapons and arms and ammunition for Israel. That's why they are also doing this. So we have to clearly make line by line clear that we are not involved in such activities. Our motive and passage is only for trade, which is going to assist the people, food grain, energy, and other things. So it is very important point at this. It is very important point. We have to elaborate clearly and announce it.
Right, Mr. Hussain, talking about specifically India, India will have to take a longer route when it comes to its trade, which is of course going to affect it over a period of time now. But is there a way that we can increase our defense there in the Red Sea?
Of course, we have signed several agreements with Oman. At Port Dokam, we can place our ships, and also, but surprisingly, that Saudi Arabia and Egypt have not joined the two major military and significant power there. So our things are very limited, that we cannot indulge in war. What I think with the regional asymmetric forces, because our trade, we are not confined only with trade. Our trade, as I said, that $200 billion trade passes through Bab al Mandab. If it is not working, that we have to choose the Cape of Good Hope. Cape of Good Hope, that is very going from Africa and then Europe and all this will affect. But side by side, when many countries are involved in security zone of the region, what we can do, we have. That's why I am telling we need a cautious policy and double track policy. Deterrence as well as dialogue with the concerned parties. Our 9 million workers are there. $200 billion trade we are doing there. Energy is coming from there. So we are trapped there on multiple fronts. If war against us is escalating there, then it will be very less possible. And we cannot trust other allies like US that they will come and protect us. They want us to suck in this war. So this has been their policy since long to suck us in the Middle Eastern war, and we were avoiding. Since Iraq war, they were demanding that India should send their troops, refueling of the aircraft and all these things. We have dexterously, diplomatically avoided all these traps. So this is a crucial time. We have to save ourselves from the trap, from the trap of US and 20 other countries.
Right.
So
thank you.
My approach is that, of course, if war extends, this was the fear of the Gaza war, that America can America control the escalation of war. The war has entered into second phase, where the chances of escalation is very much. Iran and Houthis back forces are working in that direction.
Right, absolutely.
Whether US will be in position to manage it or not with time till. I think that for time being, they are looking the capabilities of Houthis. They have shot down the American reconnaissance drone. So Russia and other technologies are also working there. Perhaps we need a very cautious policy in handling.
Right. On that point, Mr. Hussain, thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts on this. Like you said, a cautious policy could be a way forward. We'll continue tracking this story. Now, some more news, in fact, coming in that a chemical tanker off the coast of India was targeted by a one-way attack drone fired from Iran, according to the Pentagon statement. Now, the attack caused no casualties aboard the Japanese-owned vessel, according to the U.S., adding that a fire was extinguished. Now, the U.S. military remains in communication with the vessel as it continues toward a destination in India. The Pentagon statement said that the Pluto ship, which flew under a Liberian flag, was operated by a Dutch entity, and there was no immediate claim of responsibility for the strike, which came amid a flurry of drone and missile attacks by Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels on a vital shipping lane in the Red Sea. Meanwhile, a statement by the Indian Coast Guard officials said that they'd managed to establish contact with this ship and that a Coast Guard vessel is moving towards it, which is 270 nautical miles off the Porbandar coast.